All right, so we're going to begin in a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like. It can be on the mat, it could be in a chair, whatever works. Props if we need them, feet in, legs out, whatever feels best today. But just taking a moment to kind of settle into a seated position. And it's okay if we want to, rock around, shift our bodies, move our bodies with our hands. Today, our theme is around support. And so our practice is going to be just a sweet little heart opening, kind of love, kindness, connection focused short practice. So being kind to our bodies, using any props that we need, being sweet in that way, taking care of what our body is asking for. And then creating some space for the breath to come in. So lengthening up through the spine, taking the shoulders back and down. And if it feels good to roll them up and back and down a few times, that would be great. Or shrugging them up and letting them drop down to just create that space for the heart to open. And then we have the option to bring one hand to the heart and the other hand actually up to the third eye. So with eyes open or closed, whatever feels best there, just taking a moment to breathe here and to envision a connection between the head and the heart. We sometimes get stuck up in the head and rely only on what our mind has to tell us. And so just allowing the breath as we breathe in to cycle up through the third eye and then down the throat into the heart, almost like an infinity or a figure eight, just allowing the breath to cycle between the two. So we're creating a connection here. We're also inviting balance between the head and the heart. So just long, slow, deep breathing. Knowing that we need both our head and our heart serve us. And so inviting teamwork between the head and the heart. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And whenever we get to the end of that second breath, we can just relax the arms back down. And if we have our eyes closed, we're welcome to leave the eyes closed. And let's just begin to tilt the head from side to side. So tuning into lateral flexion here at the neck. So just noticing what this one area of the body has to tell us. Is there any way that we can move with more love or kindness or compassion for this area? So that may mean speeding up or slowing down or noticing the most kind range of motion. Once we're balanced out here from side to side, let's turn the head right and left. So again, as we're present and we're paying attention on purpose to what this one area of our body has to tell us today, we're connecting with ourselves, recognizing how we can support ourselves by honoring what our body is asking for. Maybe one more to each side or balancing ourselves out here. And then gently lifting the chin, still long through the neck. And as the chin comes down, let's lift with the base of the skull. So as the chin goes up, we're lengthening up through the front of the neck. As the chin comes down, we're lengthening up through the back of the neck. And still just breathing, long, slow, deep breath. So maybe one more in each direction here, or balancing ourselves out. And once we get back to neutral with the chin, let's just once again tune into that lengthening up from the base of our spine all the way up to our crown. So we're going to bring that movement into the larger spine and the torso. I'm going to bring my hands up behind my head, but if a different placement of the hands would feel better. Oh, and I don't know if you can hear that, but they're vacuuming right outside my door now. My hands are behind my head, or you could place your hands on your shoulders if that feels better, or just leave the arms down. But we're going to do those same movements. So let's begin with lateral flexion. So just a little lean from side to side. So can we depend on that stable base, only moving above the waistline, opening one side of the ribs and then the other? And again, we're kind in our range of motion and in our pace. If it would feel better to move to one side and pause there, or to extend the top arm, we could do that. So just kind of experimenting with what feels best in our bodies today. Experimenting with different versions if that would feel helpful. So let's do that once more to each side, or to balance ourselves out. And then once we get back to center, you may notice we're warming the shoulders up a little bit here as well. We'll move into rotation. So just twisting to one side. Now with the arms up like this, we may also notice a limit in our range of motion, simply because we're having to twist with our core. So just twisting side to side. If once we get to one side, it would feel good to drop an arm down and maybe touch the fingers to the floor, we could do that. So again, just kind of tuning in with compassion to what would feel good. So let's do that once more on each side, or we'll balance ourselves out. And then we'll meet back in the middle. And once we get to the center, we'll use the arms kind of as a tool for opening and closing. So think about opening those wings out, like wings of a butterfly. So we're still opening through the throat a bit and through the heart. And then as we close, we'll draw the elbows toward each other in front of us. So we've got that extension and flexion movement like cat and cow. And again, let's not get too hung up on what the arms are doing. If it would feel better to bring the arms down, or to, reach the arms forward and back, we have the freedom to respond to what would feel best for us. We have the freedom to respond. We have the power to respond to what our body is asking for. So let's do this movement once more in each direction, or we'll balance ourselves out. And then we'll come back to meet in that tall posture. And it might feel good to roll the shoulders out, or to move the arms a little bit, so that we're just moving some of the energy out of the shoulder joints. And let's come over to meet in child's pose. So any version of child's pose, we are welcome to place our head on a block. We can stack our fists and place our head on our fists. But just taking a moment to come over and to feel supported by the floor, supported by our props, or supported by our own hands, if that helps as well. And just allowing the back to round just a little bit here, stretching into the low back muscles. And then from here, let's extend the arms out in front of us for extended child's pose. And it may feel good to walk the fingers forward just a little bit, stretching into the upper back. And we're going to have the option to move into a little flow here. The flow will go from down dog and then the knees come down, and then the elbows, and then we come into child's pose. So I'm going to show you, but I also want to give you the mantra that you will have an option to use as well. And that mantra is Namaha. Namaha. It means I bow to the highest version of myself. So we're really bowing to who we're becoming. We're bowing to that golden self within. So here is what the flow looks like. And again, we always have the option to find a version that might fit better for our bodies. So from extended child's pose, on the inhalation, we're coming up for downward facing dog. And then as the knees come down, na, the elbows, ma, and into child's pose, ha. So just finding your pace, your version, inhaling up, na, ma, ha, bowing to ourselves, na, ma, ha, honoring all of the good that is within us, na, ma, ha, honoring our own gifts, na, ma, ha. Let's do one more. Na, ma, ha. And once we get back to child's pose, we can move our arms, shorten the lever if we'd like. Let's take a few breaths here. Just noticing how the energy feels in our bodies. And then from extended child's pose or from down dog, let's step or walk the feet forward into a standing forward fold. So as much of a bend in the knees as we would like, let's allow the head to hang down toward the floor. And if it would feel good to shake or nod the head here, we have that option. And from here, as we inhale, lengthening through the spine, lifting halfway up, let's reach the arms out from the shoulders in a T. As we exhale, the spine stays long and we're just drawing the arms in to hug ourselves. Inhaling, the arms reach out again. Exhaling, forward fold. Reverse swan diving all the way up, reaching the arms up toward the sky. Hands come together, down to heart center. Let's sit back and down for chair. Inhaling, arms up, extended mountain. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold. So that's the little flow we're gonna do. So inhaling, monkey, halfway lift, arms reach out. Exhaling, we'll give ourselves a hug. Inhaling, arms reach out. Exhaling, forward fold. Reverse swan diving, extended mountain, palms come together, sitting back and down for chair. Inhaling, extended mountain. Exhaling, forward fold. So we'll go through one more time. Inhaling, halfway lift, arms reach out. Exhaling, giving ourselves a hug. Inhaling, arms reach out. Exhaling, forward fold. Reverse swan diving all the way up. Extended mountain, sitting back and down for chair, hands to heart center. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. So once we get back down to forward fold, just taking a breath here. And if it would feel good to shift the weight forward or back in the feet, or to sway or bend or rock, we have that option here. And then from here, let's step back into either down dog or extended child's pose. So we have the choice to find the version that feels best for us today. From here, we're stepping our right foot forward into a kneeling lunge, inhaling our arms up. As we exhale, let's open the arms out like goalposts. So the heart is open, the elbows are out. Inhaling, arms reach up. Exhaling, hands come down to frame the front foot. And we're pressing back into down dog or child's pose. Hinging forward for either plank, full or kneeling, or if it would feel good on the back, we're going to drop the hips down and shine the heart forward. And then all the way back, down dog or child's pose. And then our left foot steps forward, kneeling lunge. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, opening out like goalposts or cactus arms. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands come down. Back to down dog or child's pose. And then hinging forward, kneeling or full plank, or we can let the hips drop and the heart shine forward. So we'll go through this flow one more time. Back to down dog or child's pose. Our right foot steps forward, kneeling lunge. Arms reach up, and then elbows open out. Arms reach up, hands come down to frame the front foot. Back to down dog or child's pose. Forward to plank or that kind of modified up dog. And back again. And our left foot steps forward, kneeling lunge. Arms reach up. They open out like goalposts. Arms reach up. They come back down. Back to down dog or child's pose. Forward to plank or that kind of modified up dog. And then back again. And then if we're in down dog, let's come down to child's pose. We'll take a breath here. And we're just going to come over into a seated position with our legs out in front of us. And they can be however, legs straight, legs bent, whatever we like. We're just going to do a brief little self-massage with our hands. So we'll take the hands to one foot, doesn't matter which one, and just give all your toes a little attention. Give them a little squeeze. Just see how that feels. Bring in some energy and attention to your toes. And then up and down our feet. So just a little brief little foot massage. Getting the heels, getting the arch. And then we're just going to make kind of circular movements around the ankle. For the lower leg, we're drawing the energy up toward the knee. So nice long strokes up toward the knee. And then again, circular movement around the knee. And for the upper leg, long strokes up toward the hip. And then I invite you to pause for just a moment before we do the other side to just see if one leg feels different than the other. If the massaged leg feels any different than the non-massaged leg. And let's do the other side. So getting those toes, giving each one a little squeeze, a little rub. And then our feet, so kind of long strokes almost up and down the feet, getting the arch, getting the heel in there. Circular movements on the joints. So whatever that can look like for your ankle. Long strokes on the long bones. So up the lower leg toward the knee. And circular movements on that knee joint. Long strokes up the thigh. And then give your hip a little rub, your hip and your glute. And get the other hip, the other glute. Can't leave it out. All right. Next comes our fingers. So on one hand, just giving each finger a little attention. A little rub, a little massage. And then get the palm of the hand, get the back of the hand. A little rub down for the wrist, maybe just kind of circling around the wrist. Long strokes on the long bones, coming up the arm toward the elbow. A little circular movement on the elbow. And then long strokes up the upper arm toward the shoulder. And give the shoulder a little massage, maybe a little squeeze up into the neck. And we'll move to the other hand. So get all those fingers in. And the palm and the back of the hand. And get that wrist in. Long strokes up toward the elbow. Circular massage at the joint. Long strokes up toward the shoulder. And get the shoulder in. And maybe a little squeeze up the neck. And then we'll take our hands to our low back. So just a little gentle rub at the low back, however high or low you can go there. We'll come up and do circular motion from the center out, like toward the armpit on your chest. Get both sides there. Little lymphatic support. And then finally, we'll end with the belly. So right hand, and it might look like my left on the video, goes up the right, across, and down left. So upright and down left. That's the direction food moves through the colon. So we want to support that, just helping everything move out. And then finally, if it would feel good, just a little rub up the face. Maybe from the jawline up toward the ears. Maybe from the eyebrows up toward the hairline. And if it would feel good, you can always give your scalp a little rub down too. And then just coming back to still tall posture, just checking in. Let's take a big breath. And just notice how the energy in your body feels, how the energy is moving. Your body may feel more calm or more grounded. It may feel more energized or awake. So just noticing. All right, namaste. There's our little practice for